All right, so today we're gonna be working on the front brakes of this B8.5 Audi S4. This is a 2015. It came stock with the single piston calipers, and as far as I know, these are just standard rotors and pads. So I'm gonna also upgrade the lines to stainless steel lines all the way around. In the back here, just has the standard rear calipers, single piston, but the pads and rotors were replaced when I got the car. So all I'm gonna do is upgrade the lines. And I don't really know if there's a rear brake upgrade, but you know, most of the braking is done with the front brakes. So let's go over here and check out the calipers. So these are the calipers. I had them powder coated. They came in raw from, I ordered these from ECS Tuning. I ordered the whole kit with comes with the factory Q5 Brembo brakes, comes with the stainless steel lines for the front, and it also comes with new pads and rotors. So what I did was I just disassembled them, took out the pistons, and then also I took out the bleeder screws. So those are all right there. They're pretty easy to get out, not a problem. What I did was I just used some of these wood blocks like this. I put them in between in here, and then I use compressed air to blow out each side, and then they literally just pull right out since these are, you know, brand new calipers. But I did them black because, you know, I didn't really want to have to worry about repainting the rear calipers as well, and those are black from the factory. So I did black with a white Brembo sticker. All right, so got some more goodies in the box here. This is a front and rear set of ECS Tuning's Exact Fit stainless steel lines. The calipers came with new pad retainer clips and rods. And then the kit actually came with these Posi Quiet pads, but I went ahead and just got a set of the Brembo pads here, just because I wasn't too sure about the Posi Quiet ones. They also, you know, the kit comes with this Pentosan, I believe it is, .4 brake fluid, and then in the bag here are 4 caliper bolts. All right, so the kit comes with these ECS slotted rotors. So I just have the ones for the front and you know, both sides of the front. I didn't want to upgrade the rear at this time just because, like I said earlier, that the brakes in the rear were just done right when I got the car. So we'll see how it works and how it looks. And only thing I might do for the rear is to repaint the top hats black like these. So we'll see. But that's pretty much what comes in the kit. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to put together the calipers and then start working on taking the old calipers off the car. All right, so got a little update here. Basically, what I've done is taken off the wheels on all 4 corners, and I'm mainly focused up front up here because there's much more to do. But what I did was loosen the bolts on the back of the calipers. So I just went straight for the bolts that hold it to the knuckle, and they are right there. There's one there, and there's another one down there. So those 2 right there are 21 millimeter. So I unloosened those 2, and then I checked to make sure I could get this rotor set screw loose also. And I wanted to do all of that before loosening up the brake line. So basically we're going to be taking the brake line off up there, and then just taking the whole line and the caliper off the vehicle. So over here, what I did was I took the calipers and I reassembled them. So I had to put the pistons back in there, and then put the seals and all that stuff back in there. I put the crossover line back on there, and then I also put both of the brake bleeders on there, and then I went ahead and put the stainless steel lines and attached them here. You're supposed to attach them here first because they don't swivel here. They also don't swivel up here either. What they do is they just sit up there, and then the piece that's actually on the brake line swivels into here. So make sure you put it on here first. So here's a pretty good before shot of the caliper rotor situation. So the next step is going to be to disassemble this whole front side on both the driver and passenger side, and then we will move to the rear to take off the lines back there to replace them with the stainless steel lines, and then we're going to bleed the system with a power bleeder. All right, so I just finished up working on the rear. All I did was I unhooked the caliper right here and right here. So just the caliper from the, and then that way it would come up and the bracket still stays in place. Unplugged with a parking brake plug, and basically I had to use my OBD11 in order to fully retract the electronic parking brake. So I did that whole sequence before taking this off, and what I'm gonna do is, you know, once I'm done, I'm gonna go back and redo that. But I took this caliper off with the line and just unhooked the line right here. So you just use this, it's 11 millimeter here. So I unhooked it from here and then just let it drain while I was situating the new line onto the caliper. Once I did that, I ran it back under here, hooked it up, cleaned up all the brake fluid, rehooked up the parking brake sensor plug. So what I'm gonna do is, obviously I still need to work on the front. So after that, we'll go through the process of bleeding the brakes. All right, so status update. I have successfully kind of just installed everything. I have not bled the brakes or anything like that. And the front brake calipers are not torqued down, but basically this is the gist. I finished assembling the calipers. I put the pads in, the retaining clip, and the pins, and then also the EBC stainless steel brake line. I had to loosen up the little rubber clip, the little rubber thing that holds it in place there. I had to pry that loose on every single one of these brake lines, and then I put some lube on it, because what happens is when you turn the wheel, it should slide in there. But I did that, and then I test the wheels. So I turned the car on, and then I just turned the accessory on power on, and then I just turned the wheels to full lock on each side just to test. But that's this side, and that's this side. So one thing I really wanted to do that I lost my brain, but I wanted to weigh these factory S4 calipers versus the Brembo ones that come off the Q5. So these are cast aluminum here, but I'm not sure what these are, if they're cast aluminum or if they're cast iron. The front sections here might be cast iron, and then this cast aluminum, but these seem significantly heavier, even though they're not as big. And you know, those are just one giant single piston right there. I didn't take these apart at all. I just unbolted them and then took the whole thing off after unscrewing the brake line. So Next up is just hooking up the power bleeder and bleeding the brakes, and then I need to redo the parking brake with the OBD11, and then I will take it for a test drive. All right, so I'm working on bleeding the brakes, and all I have is my little bleeding bottle here. I just hook it up to the brake bleeder, and then I have my vacuum bleeder or pressure bleeder hanging up there. So all I do is come down here, loosen the bleeder, and just let it run for a few seconds. Make sure you see all the bubbles coming out. So it just drains into there. So all I have left to do is this side and the other side, and then I will put everything back together. I need to bed in the brake pads, and I will have another video after driving this for a little while. I may put it at the end of this video, but I want to make sure I get some good driving, that way I can compare it between the stock brakes and these Q5 brakes, the Brembo 4 pistons, because those single pistons, those are single pistons, these are 4 pistons. So we'll see if they do much better as far as stopping and how they feel for daily driving, because I do daily drive this. All right, so we're back on the ground now. Here's a look of it. So everything's tightened up. The brakes have been bled. The only thing left to do is to reset or re-engage the parking brake with OBD11. So since it has electronic parking brake, and I took the caliper off to replace the brake line, I'm gonna have to redo the parking brake sequence.